this video, we'll discuss some of Excel's great functions to help you analyze mortgage loans or just personal finance loans. So the 5 functions we want to learn about in this video are as follows. PMT lets you figure out the monthly payment or payment per period. It's usually monthly. IPMT lets you figure out the monthly amount of your payment that goes to interest. Monthly principal lets you figure out the monthly component of your payment that goes to principal. And of course, if you think about it, IPMT plus PPMT should equal PMT. CUMIPMT means basically your cumulative interest over a set of months. CUMPRINTS, this should be CUMPRINTS, someday your prince will come, will give you the cumulative principal over a set of months. So let's get started learning about this. So in our example in the file mortgage function, we also assume there's an 8% annual rate. So to make it monthly, you divide it by 12. And it's a 10-month loan and you're borrowing $10,000. So let's find out your monthly payment under 3 conditions. You're making end of the month payments, beginning of the month payments, and end of the month payments, and at the end you make a $1,000 payment at the end of the last month. Okay, so remember in these functions, the argument 0 means end of the period. Payments. And the 1 means beginning of the period. Okay, so we can use the function wizard here. If you go to little fx and you go to financial functions and you type PMT. Okay. So the rate was 8% divided by 12. I'll just type it in. The present value, now this should be a positive number because if you borrow money, they write you a check when you get the loan. Future value is 0 because there's nothing happening at the end of the investment. Okay. Oops, wrong function. Sorry about that. So I should have done PMT. Okay. So the rate is 0.08 divided by 12. The number of periods was 10 months. The present value, okay, we're borrowing $10,000. Future value, there's, okay, no cash balance at the end of this loan. In other words, we're not paying anything like a balloon payment. And it's end of the month payments. So it's going to say minus because you're paying the money. Okay, so it's in red because you're paying the money. Now I'm going to flip that by putting a minus sign in front of it. So if you want to pay off a 10-month loan at 8% a year, you should pay $1,037.03 each month. Okay. Now if it's the payment at the beginning of each month, you would simply use the last argument being A1. So I can go to most recently used functions. This is a little trick because I just did PMT. Okay, so it's 0.08 divided by 12. It's a 10-month loan. I borrowed $10,000. There's no future value. And this time it was beginning of the month. Okay, and a minus sign in front of that when I'm done here would make that a positive payment. Okay, the minus indicates I'm paying money. But what about if we make a $1,000 ending payment? We've got to be careful. So it's a balloon payment at the end of the loan. We should owe less per month. So function wizard, PMT, it's 0.08 divided by 12, 10 months. I'm going to get a check for $10,000 today. But I'm going to write them a check for $1,000 at the end. So this should be opposite the sign of the present value, and it's end of the month payments. And so that's minus 900. That's $940. I have to put a minus sign in front of that. Okay. Now I want to talk about setting up what's called an amortization schedule. And an amortization schedule tells you for every period your beginning balance on a loan, your monthly payment, what goes to principal, what goes to interest, and your ending balance. So beginning balance was $10,000. The ending balance should be 0. Okay, what's the monthly payment? I just copied it from the PMT function. So every month that's the same. Now what goes to principal? There's a function, PPMT. So the arguments of PPMT, you need a minus sign in front. You take the rate. The only difference is you have the period number. It goes 1 through 10. As you know, if you borrowed money, more of your money goes to principal the later in the loan because less goes to interest. So you'd say this is month 1. There's a 10-period loan. You borrow $10,000. There's nothing being paid at the end of the loan. And if you copy that down, you can see, like for instance, this would be the 6th month, what goes to principal. And it's more and more because less goes to interest. Now to figure out what goes to interest, you just change the PPMT to IPMT. And the ending balance is beginning balance minus what goes to principal. Now an easy way to figure out what goes to interest, okay, with end of the month payments. With end of the month payments, okay, you take your monthly rate times your beginning balance, and that would be what goes to interest, 66.67. Okay. And now your ending balance turns out to be 0. So a little question for you to see if you really understand these financial functions. What's the relationship between NPV function and the PMT function? If you take the NPV of your PMTs, your monthly payments, you should get the amount of the loan. Let's try that. So if I would do an NPV and the rate would be 0.08 divided by 12 per period, and I look at these monthly payments, it should be $10,000. And it is. And that makes the ending balance be 0. The payment is set up so the net present value of the payments should equal the size of the loan. Okay. Now let's talk about figure out the cumulative amount of interest or principal that's paid over a set of months. If you're ever going to analyze adjustable rate mortgages, this really simplifies the work on that. Okay, so let's suppose we'll look at this loan. What is our cumulative interest for months 2 through 4? Now, if you add those numbers up, you would get $161. Okay, so let's get that with the cum interest function. Cum IPMT. So if I go to the function wizard and I go to financial functions and I type cum, get that again, cum IPMT. Okay, so let's fill this in. So the rate per period is 0.08 divided by 12. It's a 10-month loan. I'm borrowing $10,000. You need a positive in there. I'm starting in period 2, and I want to know through period 4 what goes to interest. I've got to scroll down. It's end of the month payments, so I'll put a 0 there. Now it's going to make that negative, but it's right. See, minus 161.01. Now what goes to principals in months 2 through 4? Months 2 through 4. I would add up the principal contribution to months 2 through 4. If I want a function that gets that, I could do cum prints. Someday my prints will come. Is that Cinderella? I think so. So if I type cum prints, the rate is going to be 8% divided by 12. The number of periods is 10 months. The present value is $10,000. The start period is period 2. The end period was month 4. Scroll down and make this end of the month payments. And I get minus $29.50, which is exactly right. That's what the payments for months 2 through 4 added up to. And so every month you can see principal plus interest equals monthly payment. You can check that. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 functions here that are really powerful, almost as very powerful functions to help us analyze mortgage payments or loan payments and create an amortization schedule. We'll come back in a later video and show you can actually create the amortization schedule by using the Excel solver or GoalSeek and not really use these functions. But these functions are very, very, very powerful.
Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's a free course, a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, and all of these videos are coming from one of three books. So first, this one, which you can see here at the top of the screen, Microsoft's book, which has 355 reviews, and then it's, let's see, 4.6 stars. It's coming from this book as well, his marketing analytics book, which is down here, and you can sort of see 4.5, or his newest book, his analytics stories book, which is here. And with that one, you can see it's 4 point something, or maybe even 5. I don't think it's 5. Yeah, 4.8. And so, yeah, anyways, in the description, there's a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free, and it'll be there. But again, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks.